Today we're playing a artifacts deck, and it's focused on Urza. There's an Urza that transforms into a planeswalker. If you have another artifact, they like meld together. So yeah, it's got a lot of soldier tokens, those artifact soldier tokens. It's pretty fun to play. I used to play it. I just felt like making a video on it. I don't really play it too much anymore, but yeah. So this is it. Alright, so this is a really good hand. We have Urza and Myrel, so you'll see what those do. Not the right lands for Urza, but we still should be okay. Play a land and pass. I'm gonna play a mountain here so I can play that melt through, and I'll just pass. He'll play a swamp. He plays a Fairy Vandal. This is one of my favorite cards. Flash and flying. Whenever you draw your second card on each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Fairy Vandal. I'll play a land. I'm going to cast Melt Through. It deals 2 damage to any target. If it's a creature, it perpetually gains as long as it's on the battlefield. Damage isn't removed from it. So that will kill his Fairy Vandal. And I'll cast a Furnace Skullbomb. For 1 mana, I can sacrifice it and draw a card. It has another ability, but I don't use that. He'll play a land. And he'll cast a Quicksilver Servitor. Ward 2, and whenever you cast the creature spell from among cards in your hand this turn, proliferate. He's playing Proliferation, I guess. I'm going to cast a land. And I'm going to cast by Elspeth's command. At the beginning of combat on my turn, I have to choose one that wasn't chosen during the last combat. I can either make a soldier token, give a soldier in my hand a buff, or give a soldier on my battlefield a buff. I'll make a token. Opponent plays a land. He'll cast a Kaido Shizuki. He phases out on the first turn that you have him in when it's on my turn. +1 him to draw a card, then discard unless he attacks. -2 to create a 1/1 that can't be blocked. And -7 to make it so whenever a creature that's blue or black he controls deals combat damage to me, he can search his library for a creature card and put it onto the battlefield as long as it's black or blue. It's pretty good. He'll swing for 3, and I can just chump block with the token here. And then he'll draw a card with Kaido. Oh, nice. We drew a blue land for Urza. Alright, and that's 4 mana, so we can play Myrel. This is looking good. We'll sack the Furnace Skullbomb to draw a card. And I'll cast a Mandible Justiciar. As lifelink, whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under my control, it gets +1/+1 until the end of turn. I'm going to choose the middle one. Soldier card in my hand gets +1/+1. And Vigilance, because now I can give Myrel Vigilance and +1/+1 perpetually. So that's pretty good. Opponent plays a land. And he's going to cast Jace Perfected Mind. +1 until my next turn, target creature gets -3/-0. -2, target player mills 3 cards. Then if the graveyard has 20 more cards in it, you draw 3 cards. Otherwise, you draw a card. And -X to make target player mill X cards. He'll go ahead and give my Mandible Justiciar -3/-0 until the end of his next turn. And I can't block that 3 without losing the Mandible Justiciar, and I kind of want that guy. Alright, this is tough. Do we cast Myrel here, or do we cast Urza? I think I'm going to cast Myrel here. It's buffed from my Elspeth's command. And during my turn, opponents can cast spells or activate abilities of artifact, creatures, or enchantments. And whenever Myrel Shade of Argive attacks, create X 1/1 color soldier artifact tokens, where X is the number of soldiers I control, so it doubles my soldiers. Now I'll give Myrel +1/+1 in flying perpetually, so now we can start hitting those planeswalkers next turn. And just dealing damage and making more soldiers. He'll give my Myrel -3/-0. He'll play Sorin the Mirthless. He can +1 him to look at the top card of his library. He can put it in his hand, but lose life equal to its mana value. He can -2 to make a 2/3 black vampire creature token with flying and lifelink, and -7 to make him deal 13 damage to any target, and he gains 13 life. That could be game ending. He just gets me a little more damage on me. That could be game ending. Anyways, he'll create a 1/1 with Kaido, and a -2 to create a 2/3 with flying and lifelink with Sorin. I'll play the land that I drew. I'll play Urza, Lord Protector. Artifact, instant, and sorcery spells cost you 1 less to cast. For 7 mana, he can meld him in the Mightstone and Weakstone and make himself into a Planeswalker. And the Mightstone and Weakstone also tap for 2, so it's really just 5 mana here. I'll make a soldier token with Elspeth's command. I'll attack with Myrel and Mandible Justiciar at his Planeswalkers. He could block here, but he'll lose his creatures. We'll get extra triggers on Mandible because of the 2 soldiers that were made with Myrel. He blocks the Myrel.
Mission's compromised. Time.
Opponent plays a land. He'll cast another Kaido Shizuki here. And another Quicksilver Servitor. That's the one that proliferates whenever you cast a creature spell from your hand. He'll give my Myrel -3/-0 with his Jace. He'll +1 Sorin the Mirthless to reveal the top card of his library and lose life equal to his mana cost if he puts it into his hand. And he won't. He'll swing with the unblockable 1/1 and go ahead and +1 Kaido to draw a card. Oh, and that's our meld with Urza. So it's a legendary artifact. When it ETBs, I can either draw 2 cards or make target creature get -5/-5, and it taps for 2 Power Stone mana. We'll probably go -5/-5 and kill his flying token so we can get hits off with Myrel. I'll cast an Urza Sylex, just in case. It's basically a board wipe, but when I do it, I can pay 2 to search my library for a Planeswalker card. There's only 1 Planeswalker in this deck that I'd grab as a Saheeli. I'll just go ahead and give my Myrel an extra counter here so I can get more damage in. And we'll just start swinging as Planeswalkers here. We'll swing with Myrel at Sorin, some tokens at Sorin, a token at Jace, Mandible Justiciar at Jace, and make a bunch of tokens, bunch of Mandible Justiciar triggers. We'll see how he blocks this. He'll block the tokens with his 3/3s. Okay.
Without me, we're all doomed.
He'll make my Myrel have -3/-0 until his next turn. He'll swing for 1 unblockable. And draw a card with Kaido.
Thanks. I'll be taking that now.
He'll cast a Tasha Unholy Archmage. +1 until your end of turn. Whenever a creature attacks you or Tasha Unholy Archmage, put a -1/-1 counter on that creature. -2, target opponent puts a creature card of their choice from their graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. That creature gains Ward 2. In -6, target opponent reveals cards from the top of their library until they reveal 3 creature cards. Put those cards on the battlefield and under your control, and the player puts the rest into their graveyard. So, a little hint. I did not read that card. So, just some foreshadowing. There might be a few things that happen later in this game that might be a little questionable. But we shouldn't have to worry about it because we're going to meld Urza and Mightstone and Weakstone. So I can activate his Planeswalker abilities twice per turn. For +2, artifact, instant, and sorceries you cast this turn cost 2 less to cast and you gain 2 life. For +1, draw 2 cards, then discard a card. 0, create 2 1/1 colorless soldier artifact creature tokens. -3, exile target non-land permanent. And for -10, artifacts and planeswalkers you control gain indestructible until end of turn. Destroy all non-land permanents. So, pretty crazy value with Myrel here, with getting 4 artifact soldier tokens per turn.
Perfectly obedient, as all soldiers.
I'll just go ahead and make another token. So here's where things get a little iffy. If you want to, you could just like skip forwards a little bit, skip this little attack phase. It's not too important. If you noticed, they made it so all my creatures get -1/-1, and I just attacked whenever they attack, and yeah. So we don't have to worry about this, okay? Because we just made 6 more, alright? It's all good. Okay. Yay. Minor mistake. Just very minor. He's gonna cast a Vraska Betrayal Sting. For 0 mana, you draw a card and lose 1 life. Proliferate from -2. Target creature basically just becomes a treasure token. In -9, if target player has fewer than 9 poison counters, they get a number of poison counters equal to the difference. I'm getting kind of worried with all these planeswalkers. If we see Ickermoon Gauntlet in this deck, he's just going to be taking infinite turns, and I'm probably going to have to scoop. But, I mean, we do have Urza. That's pretty good on its own, not gonna lie. Oh, but he's going to make my Myrel just a treasure token now. Notice how he does the Tasha thing again, to make all my creatures get -1/-1 when they attack. Just notice that. So, the first combat phase, where I made a little oopsie, that wasn't the only oopsie that was made this game. So you can skip past my combat phase next turn if you would like to. He'll swing for 1 unblockable at Urza, and then draw a card with Kaido. I'll play a land. And we'll +2 Urza here, I think, to make all my artifact ends and sorceries cost 2 less to cast, and I'll gain 2 life.
Fetch me more.
And then we'll go 0 to create 2 1/1 soldier artifact tokens. And I'll cast Michiko's Reign of Truth. For 1 and 2, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each artifact and enchantment I control, and on 3 it transforms. We'll target one of our tokens with Michiko's Reign of Truth. And then we'll cast Urza's Command. Choose 2. Creatures you don't control get -2/-0 until end of turn. Create a tap Power Stone token. Create a 0/0 that gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. And scry 1, then draw a card. We'll go ahead and make the Construct and the Power Stone token here. We'll give our 19/19 flying. And I said good game. I said good game, but I did it again. Okay. I told you to skip past the combat phase. Why are you watching this? This is not this is not my proudest moment, but he has 2 health left. He has 2 health left, okay? Next turn, he dies. So, yeah. I don't think he can do anything here. He says good game. Maybe he's resigning? He'll cast Invoke the Winds. Gain control of target artifact or creature. Untap it. He'll take my Construct for whatever reason. I mean, it's still going to be a 1/1. He doesn't have any artifacts. I guess it's the same thing. It's better. I would have just taken the flyer, so I couldn't block it. And he'll -2 Tasha and take my Mandible Justiciar. I didn't get to pick because it was my only creature. He'll -7 to make an emblem with Kaido Shizuki.
I've studied your tactics, and I can evade them all.
He'll make my flyer a treasure token. And he'll give one of my soldier tokens -3, -0 until his next turn. He'll swing for 1 unblockable at Urza. And I mean, I can just give my other soldier token flying and a +1/+1 counter with Elspeth's command next turn. So I don't think this matters. I think I win here. What he should have done was attacked for unblockable at me, so he could have had Kaido Shizuki trigger and maybe had a life gain. Oh, and there's the resign. GG. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you keep watching my stuff. Please like and subscribe, and maybe hit that bell so you get notifications whenever I post stuff. As always, this deck list will hopefully be in the description, unless I'm too lazy to do it. Adios.